When I was a young girl, I looked up to my father. My old man was tall, smart, well spoken, and he had a presence about him when he entered a room. Everyone took notice. He was a natural born leader. A coach, camp director, a teacher. My father was what one would call a great man. He possessed this ability to move people with his speeches of encouragement, and he seemed to be born that way.
Like him. So I started playing basketball as soon as I could and tried to emulate my father in every possible way. Slowly I learned that instead of trying to tell other players what to do, I could be more effective by leading by example. Instead of trying to be a leader, I naturally developed into one, all while being accountable for my actions.
I was convinced that my father had a gift, that he was a great man. In fact, he always did the right thing, worked extremely hard, and encouraged in a gentle, loving, but firm manner. In this way, I was able to lead on and off the basketball court.
As I grew older, I carried my father's great man theory with me as a base to build my leadership development on. It wasn't until 10th grade when I attempted to define myself. Although my body said I was grown, my mentality was still that of a young child. I was a tomboy in every sense who was tired of being treated like one of the guys. As the captain of the basketball and volleyball teams, popularity was not my issue. I lacked female guidance.
I didn't wear makeup. My hair basically had two styles, a wrap or a ponytail, and although I always wore what was fashionable in style, nothing about me was feminine, except for the fact that I knew I liked boys. I started following who I thought was most liked by the boys. I began skipping school, smoking, and I was very rude and disrespectful, doing all the things I knew my father wouldn't approve of.
I acted as if I had no home training and felt as if no one cared about me. I could remember when my grandmother stepped in. Now, Grandma, she was very old school, very religious, determined, dominant, wise, and not to mention very much like a chameleon, in the sense that she could change her mindset in an instant depending on what the situation dictated.
I always sat in the front room window, so you know she was aware of her environment, aka Samantha, Brandon, TJ, and Shuri. Her leadership style was that of the trait theory. She gave me a new outlook on the way I was living my life. It took a little adjusting, but after a couple of months, I started to model Grandma's behavior. She would always tell us, you have the courage, you have to encourage yourself, do not make excuses, make uses. With her guidance, I think I experienced the new and improved me.
I became a better captain by encouraging my teammates to study and practice harder. I even earned the Most Improved Student Athlete Award. By the end of high school, I graduated in the top 5% of my class. Sports and athleticism continued to be a theme of my life as I grew into an older woman.
Mom was a strong-willed woman. She raised my brother and I single-handedly while working a full-time job. She obtained an associate's degree which propelled her to an extremely successful career. In contract administration, she became a highly successful business owner who continues to inspire me every day. It was her determination to succeed that encouraged me to be a leader myself and is what instigated me to always take on challenges and leave room for growth.
It was a time in my life when I made room to grow. As a young college woman, I was shy and not sure how I would make an impact on the world, but was certainly ready to find out. I was not very active and did not know how to properly exercise or eat right. I loved to run. I became passionate about running so much so that I decided to try other sports I love, like swimming and biking.
This led to me signing up for a first triathlon, which, after simply telling people about my pursuit for a healthier life, a trend began to emerge. More of my colleagues and friends began to take up an interest in the triathlon as well. Some of them even completed their first race with me by their side and began to practice healthier habits in other areas of their lives.
I lost over 20 pounds, gained confidence, and learned how to eat properly. I realized that I was leading by example and making a lasting impact on others who wanted to be better versions of themselves. I was also being passionate about what I loved. I pursued a degree in sports business and got my personal training certification.
The passion to help others grew even deeper and remains an influence in my other career interests. While I worked at the physical therapy center, I was able to observe individuals with conditions that affected their lives. One of these people was Tim, a 42-year-old black male who had suffered a spinal cord injury after being shot in the back. He was paralyzed from the waist down and only had movement and sensation in his upper body.
While he was going through treatment, Tim would tell the physical therapy team stories of how his condition affected his daily life. Tim said that at times he would miss the bus because it would take him too long to get on that bus with his wheelchair. He spoke of his frustration on how few people were helpful in holding doors and helping him move through aisles.
His anger and frustration, Tim would find the strength and motivation to come to physical therapy, and I greatly admired his resilience. I also admired his hard work and motivation, and the hard work of the physical therapy team, as well as the power of physical therapy to improve and transform lives.
The physical therapy team provided him with the movement exercises he needed to improve his flexion, extension, internal and external shoulder rotations. The last I spoke to him, he explains how he could get on and off his wheelchair with minimal pain and discomfort. I was able to see his progress in his mobilization as well as in his determination and to improve his movements.
Tim was able to get better with the help of the physical therapist. This is the type of leadership I want to follow. I want to be able to interact with other leaders and followers and gain insight and knowledge to improve the quality of life for other individuals.